Hey, what's up, guys? This is Squarology, International Master Squarology, playing a 5-2 game on Chess.com. 5-2 means game in 5 and an increment of 2 for each move. So that way I can play it all the way to the end. It's not only good for you guys to see the end, but it's good for me to play it. Because if you only get used to playing, like, if you're not normally playing all the way through, then what's going to happen is your end game is going to suffer as a result. Okay, so he finally made his move. And I'm going to play c4. This is the Queen's Gambit, getting a duo. Very normal. Oh, God. My opponents have been doing this a lot to me. They play... they play something that's so ugly. They play something that's ugly, and then it throws me off. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to return the ugliness. That's the Budapest Gambit. So now he plays knight g4, and then he's going to get it back. I can try to hold on to it, but then he's going to hurt my pawn structure. There are a lot of things he can do. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be as annoying as possible. I'm going to play e3, which is an annoying move, because a Budapest player wants what he normally gets. Kind of a strange gambit line where he gets the pawn back. Maybe he gets good pawn structure. But I'm going to do something that's just strange, that he might have already seen. But I like this. I get really strong squares. I'm going to start dominating the d5 square. I'm going to put the knight on f4, this knight on c3, and then just get a stronghold over this square. And if we trade off, we trade off. No big deal. I'm totally fine with this. Okay, now I will play knight c3. Because I didn't want to play knight c3 before, because he could have played like take. He could have just taken on c4, and then I would have had double isolated pawns. But now that's not going to happen. So this is really good for me. Okay. So now I play knight f4. This is my plan. This is my plan from the very beginning, to put my knight on f4. And to dominate this d5 square. This is what I really like. Just having a normal game. A game where this is good. If somebody plays something ugly against me, I'm going to play something ugly right back. Right back in their face. Okay, so I attack him because he has no business in my territory. And if he takes, great. I have the bishop pair. Already a positional advantage. It's already something to look forward to. Alright. I want to develop. I need to develop. But I also want to put my queen on h5. I don't know if that's really necessary. I'm complicating things. Instead, I'm just going to put the bishop on e2, not d3, because then he could just take. And I don't have my bishop pair. Although that was possible. It wasn't like the end of the world. But I like maintaining the bishops, especially in a position like this, where it's hard for him to get rid of my bishop pair. And it's easy for me to... Hold on a second. Watch out for that. Because he can play a4. And if he plays a4, then he's stymied my pawns. Stymie. I never use that word. But I'm going to use it today. I don't want him to stymie my pawns with a4. Because then I can't push to b4 because he'll just take on en passant. So I'm going to play this. He'll take like this. And maybe trade the rooks on the a file. Totally fine. No big deal. He could take like this. He doesn't. Instead, he gives me both of his bishops. Wow. So he thinks that the knights are fine. All right. Wow, that's interesting. And I'm here to tell him that's not the case. I like this. It's a war. But on the chessboard, not in real life. Nobody's going to die. That's what I really like about chess. It's a war, but nobody's going to die. So why is this a war? It's because it's a war of ideas. He thinks that the bishop pair is not going to mean a thing. That maybe his central majority and his good development is going to mean something. But I'm here to tell him that's not the case. All right, so what to do here? Because I don't have to just stick with the bishops. I just noticed that I can play bishop e5, give him isolated pawns, and then castle. But I don't like that. For some reason, I don't like that. I'm going to castle. That threat is being hung over his head. I'm in no rush. I have all the time in the world to win. All the time in the world. You see, positional, that's the cool thing about positional advantages. They don't just go away. Well, that's the cool thing about static advantages. They don't go away out of nowhere. They're not going to just disappear. My advantage right here is having the 2 bishops. I can have that until the cows come home. Even longer. As long as I can, as long as I am careful, I'll have that for as long as I like. And that's a good thing. And because I have that kind of positional advantage, then I can try forever with that kind of thing. Okay, so he plays here. Gets away from that. Bishop e5, d5. Pseudo threat. It was like a pseudo threat. I can play bishop f3 here. I can play queen d4. Let's say if I play queen d4, he'll play e5. And then I have to go back. What is my plan here? I like this. I like just going all the way into an endgame, trading everything off, and then bringing my king into the center, and just torturing him with my bishops. I like this. So I have 2 minutes, but it's not that low, because remember, I have a 2-second increment. All right. It's about time I played. I was watching. I was on a YouTube marathon, and I was on the weird side of YouTube. You know what I'm talking about. I was watching botfly extractions. And I've developed an addiction to botfly extractions. It's just so satisfying seeing the botfly being removed from the flesh. It's just... it's... Okay, I don't know if the word is really satisfying. But, well, yeah, I guess, because I feel satisfied. I'm like, it's been taken out. All right, so now here comes the torture. Here comes the torture. I have all the time in the world. So I'm going to develop my bishop. I mean, put him on a better square. Just improve the bishop. And then I'm going to improve the king. I can take forever to do this. I don't need to relieve the tension. There's no point in doing that. Oh, but I have bishop f3. Oh, I like that. Because then it's like, what is the... I'm just controlling that diagonal. I can put my bishop on e4. That looks really nice. Bishop on e4. And then it's just dominating everything. And I'm slowly going to creep my king into the game. King f1, king e2, king g2, king c2, king b3, king a4, king b5, king b6. I have all the time in the world. Like I said, we're playing with the increment. What is his plan? I'm sure he wants to do something. Maybe like knight f8, knight e6. No, he needs to get e4 in. That's what I feel. So maybe he'll... No, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe play... No, I don't know. I really don't. Okay, yes. Here. I could have played king d2, but I just decided king f3 for some reason. King b3. What is this? What is this? That's a tactic right there. That's a signal of crucial defender, because there's only one defender. And alignment, because they're aligned. So I can play bishop g4. And if he moves the king, I take the unprotected knight. And if he blocks, then I play e4. See that? And it's coming with check. That's the key point, because he could try something funky like knight f6 or h5, but because this comes with check, it doesn't work. Okay, so now we're in an endgame where I'm up a piece. He does have a pawn for it, but it's just too much. I still don't want to give up my bishops. I don't want to give them up. My mentality hasn't changed at all. I still want to play king b3, king a4, king b5, and take on b6. Hasn't changed a single bit. Next move, king b5. Good job, king. I'm glad you did really well. Alright. Okay, so he's going to play. Yes, he's going to play here. Now I will take. Because now I have an idea. If he plays that, then I have entry with my bishops. I'm going to enter into his position. And here I have a good move. I can just play f3. And then start putting my bishop. Like, look. This is what I'm going to do. Put the bishop on a4. Just infiltrate. Like a botfly. Like a botfly in the flesh of a human. Oh, and there is a really easy way of finding out how to, of killing it. It's extremely easy. What you do is you put some Vaseline on the hole. Right? You put some Vaseline on the hole. And then that'll starve the botfly for air. And then it'll come up to the surface, and then that's when you pull it out with tweezers. So I'm just letting you know, there is a way to get rid of the botfly. It's not that dangerous. Yeah, it's definitely not lethal. Won't kill you. It'll give you some fever, some nasty fever, but it won't kill you. And you can extract it just with that method, putting Vaseline on it, starving it for air, and then using tweezers to pull it out. There are some other parasites that are much more difficult to deal with, but the botfly is relatively harmless. Okay, so like I said, I'm bringing my botflies into his territory, trying to nestle in. My idea is bishop d7. Check. I want to win this pawn. Okay, so I'll just check him here. Do I have to worry about a fork? No. If he plays king e5, holding on to the pawn, then I have bishop c3, and I'm slicing him up. I don't see what else he can do. Tricky guy. But he didn't do it. I wonder why that happened. Because if he had moved the king elsewhere, he didn't have a choice. So I just take him. And then if he takes me, yeah, I'll attack him like this. This is good. Attack that pawn, which is pretty important. What does he have? Does he have anything? No, he's just trying to win on time. But I have the 2-second increment. Check. I'm just taking everything now. He doesn't have a chance at winning. And then I start marching my pass pawn up the board. I'll mate him with the 2 bishops. It's not like you have to learn anything. You have to learn. Okay, so guys, please follow me on Twitter at Squarology. I hope you liked this 5-2 game. It was a little bit longer, but I could play all the way through because I want to improve my endgame, and you should want to do that too. All right, bye guys.